deployment tutorial, we are configuring the Windows 10 with VM. Okay, now we are installing the SQL Server inside Windows 10 and configure it. Okay, first you need to have the SQL Server Express Advanced 2016, and 64-bit is following your computer bit, which is that if you don't know where to find this bit, you right click, you open this folder, go to this PC and right click, goes to properties, and here it will tell you which bit that you are using, which is the system type 64-bit operating system. So this you need to cater first. Okay, for me, I'm using the 64-bit SQL Server Express Advanced. Okay, and then the second one that you need to have is the SQL Server Management Studio 2017. So don't mistake about, don't confuse about these two. This one is the database, this one is the client to connect to the database. So the client, I'm using the 2017 Management Studio. The database, I'm using the SQL Express Advanced 2016 64-bit. Okay, now we install first the SQL Server. So open the SQL Server Express 64-bit folder, and then you find the application type called setup. Double click it, click yes, and then it will appear a window saying that okay, a window appears saying that SQL Server Installation Center, which is that you goes to installation, click installation, and then click new SQL Server standalone installation. Okay, here accept the term, click next. Just for the sake of this tutorial, and just ignore it, click next. Then it will make a check for you, and then you will prompt as follows: installation rules or install rules. You have everything pass, and then suddenly Windows firewall warning. This is just a warning, not an error. So you can click next. Okay, inside these features, I leave it as it is, and then for the root directory instance of this SQL Server in the root directory features directory, all I leave as default. So click next. And then the name of the instance, I also leave it as default. And then here you will be prompt as a service account, blah 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 blah, and then I also choose as default. Okay, this one is complicated, but we just use whatever we can, whatever provided to us, which is the Windows authentication mode and the user here as a current user. So click next. As for reporting, we only install only. We don't use the install and configure. So we just select the install only. Click next. And then you need to accept the consent to install Microsoft R. So just click accept. And then click next. And then let the installation running. So I will be pause as this is taking a long time to finish. So when complete, I will resume back again. Okay, when the installation of SQL Server 2016 finish, you will show this display, just that all bunch of features and the status screen, so you can see the status of the features installed. Okay, and then click button close. Okay, before we continue, we need to configure the SQL configuration manager. So click start, type SQL configuration. It will prompt you the SQL Server 2016 configuration manager. Click on it. Then it will show you the SQL Server and all the configuration inside. So we go to the SQL Server network configuration. Click on the protocol. We enable the name part, and also we enable the TCP/IP. Right click the TCP/IP and select properties. Go to IP addresses tab, and here is the IP addresses that belong to this particular server. So for me, this particular server, I click on to yes. So in this range of IP address, it is IP address that belong to this machine. So that's why I'm enabling all the IP addresses. These include the IPv4 and IPv6. And then below here, you can set the dynamic port is 1433. 1433 is a default port for the Microsoft SQL Server port. So, and then we click apply, and then it will stated that any changes will be safe. However, we need to restart the services, the SQL services. Click OK, and then also click OK on this window. Go to the SQL Server services on top of this list, then click there and then expand the name. Then you can see SQL Server in bracket SQL Express, the name of the instance that we gave earlier when installing the SQL Server. So right now we click right click here and then restart. Okay, when successful restart, it will prompt as this icon, which is the button play icon on the left hand side of the SQL Server wording. So as you can see here, it is a play button. Now we go to the start. We need to configure the firewall to allow access from outside this virtual machine. So we go to start, we type here, click start, click firewall, allow an app through firewall or Windows firewall with advanced security. Right now I'm using the Windows firewall with advanced security. Click that, and then from the left hand side you will see the list of all rules and monitoring. So we select the inbound rule, then on the right hand side of the pane we have a new rule under the inbound rule tab. So select the new rule. Okay, a new window appear as a new inbound rule wizard. So for the first time, select part and then click next. So and then we select the TCP and we put a specified local port which is 1433 for MySQL server only. And then we allow the connection. And then we check all the domain private and public to go into this Microsoft SQL Server 2016. Then click next. Then we name it as a SQL Server 2016. And then the description is optional. You can put as much as you can. You can put as 43 as a default part as a description. So click finish. So we already set up the rule for incoming transmission or incoming request to the SQL server that we set up earlier. Okay, close this firewall and close this SQL Server Configuration Manager and also this SQL Server Installation Center. The next step we need to install is the SQL Server Management Studio, which is a client to connect to the SQL Server 2016. So open this folder, double click this installation, this application SMS. The shortened name for the SQL Server Management Studio is the SSMS. So as you can see here, it called SSMS setup. Okay, click yes. So this one is, you just click install. It will do the installation for you, so it will take a long time, so I will pause it so that I will resume it after it completed. Okay, so the after the installation finish, it will the windows will be disappeared, and you have the management. Open the click start. To open the management studio, click start, type management studio. So it will prompt you as a Microsoft SQL Server Management Studio 17. Click it. And then a window will appear, and it will also appear a pop-up window title connect to the SQL Server, which is that this is the default SQL Server that have inside this VM. So if let's say you already lost the server name, you can go here, go to database engine, and browse for the local server, expand the database engine here, and you will see the instance that you already installed inside the VM. So click OK. It will prompt you. It will insert it for you. Right now, we have the Windows authentication. We log in first with Windows authentication. Okay. If it is connected, it will show you the database on the left hand side pane of this window, and you can browse into the database, to the system tables, and you will see the several database have been created for you. Okay, right now for this deployment tutorial, we need to enable the SQL Server authentication, not the Windows one. So for another user to be able to authenticate through the network or to another application. So right click the name of the instance, and then select properties, go to the permission, go to the security, and select the SQL Server Windows authentication mode, and click OK. This will enable the authentication of SQL user through the network or through another application apart from Windows environment. And then it will prompt you the message saying that some of your configuration change will not take effect until the service or the server is restarted. So click OK. Then we need to enable one user to be able to use the SQL Server authentication mode. So go to the security, expand the login, and then for this deployment I'm using the SA as a SQL authentication mode. So right click, and then right click the SA user, select the properties. Inside here, specify the password. I'm using the SA password as a password. Same goes to the confirmation password, which is the SA password. untick the enforced password policy, which is that this enforced password policy is to make sure the password contain the digit, special character, and case sensitive character. Okay, now go 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 to the status on the left pane of this page. Under the setting, go to the login and enable the user. So okay, so after that, disconnect this instance by clicking the icon here, and then click start SQL. So go to the start and type in the SQL Server Configuration Manager 2016 and goes in. You will see the SQL Server Configuration Manager once again. Click on the SQL Server Services and then highlight the SQL Server, SQL Express, and then restart. So wait for a minute until it stops and start again the services. Okay, and then go to the SQL Server Management Studio. Click this icon, connect Object Explorer. The database engine is same as before, and then on the authentication mode, select the SQL Server authentication, type the user. Is for this demo, it is a SA, and the password is we set up earlier, SA password, and click connect. So you will be able to connect to the database, to the SQL Server 2016 Express Advanced. Okay, so we reach of the end of the tutorial on how to deploy the SQL Server Management Studio and SQL Server 2016, including the network authentication or SQL Server authentication, and also the firewall setup configuration.